Hello soulmate, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is the first time you see my channel, thank you for stopping by. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for watching. So in this video, we are going to be learning the sewing aspect of this corset top, of which we did the pattern drafting in my last video. So for those that could not get the video for the pattern drafting, you can check the description, the link is pasted there. Okay, so let's get started. So on my fabric, I've gone ahead to cut out the pieces on my fabric, leaving 0.75 inches all round except for the hem area, because we're going to be piping the hem, so I did not put any allowance there. So you can actually use 0.5 or 0.75 allowance, whichever one you prefer. So I went ahead to do this for both the lining pieces and the fabric, and I cut them and also ironed stay on every part of it. Okay, so you can also do this as well. So after doing that, I just brought the other part, that is the bustier part. So take note, I cut the part for the asymmetric design, both the lining and the fabric. I cut for the back piece. The back pieces I cut them into 4 because it was not on fold. The paper was not on fold, so into 4 pieces, which is for one side and the other side. Take note of that. And then for the bustier area, I also went ahead to cut for the fabric and then for the lining. And then I'm giving notches around the area where I have my underbust and the waistline. So when I'm joining them, it's going to make it easy for me to join them, and I'm going to be joining them well. So I would advise you also do these notches around these areas. Okay, so now I'm notching the bustier areas. I'm also going to notch it on the asymmetric corset design, the one that has the asymmetric design, and also for the back pattern I'm also going to notch it. Okay, so I'm just going to bring it out like this and join it. Please ensure you use your pattern papers so you don't make mistake. It's very important. So I'm joining them together like this. I'm using my pin to secure it. So this is the 1 and 2 for the front, and then I'm going to be joining that 1 and 2 to the third one, and also join it to the 4th and 5th. So this is the 4th and 5th part now that I'm joining together. So after joining it by 0.75 inches allowance, because I use 0.75 inch allowance, then I'm also going to join it to the third part like this. Okay, that side will be on the other side and this will be on this side. So I'm going to use my pin to secure it, and I'm going to join it. So I'm going to do this for both the fabric and the lining pieces. Okay, so now for the lining pieces, I'm going to cut out Warden. Okay, you can use Warden, you can use stay, maybe double or triple the stay and cut it out. Whichever one you want to use is fine, or you can even use your foam tape. Okay, I'm sorry, your laminated foam. Okay, so I'm just going to take my pattern paper and cut it out. Okay, following the shape. So after cutting it, I cut for this other bustier area, the left and the right side. So after that, this is what I have. I'm going to go ahead and iron it on the lining part of the bustier corset. Okay, please take note, is the lining part I'm going to iron it on. Okay, so I'm just going to press it there. I'm just trimming it out because I realize that place has a little bit of excess. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and press it, and after doing that, I'm going to go ahead and join it. So please take note, you have to press it first before joining it together, like we are going to be joining the others. So at this point, I've gone ahead to join everything together, and this is what I have, both for the fabric and the lining. I went ahead to join everything. So I'm going to go and give it a good press by ironing the seam open. So these areas where you have the bustier, I'm going to be using my tailor's hammer like this, and I'm going to be pressing them. So but the part where I have the straight like the back, I'm just going to go ahead and iron the seams open. Okay, and now look at the bustier area where I've already joined it together. This is what it looks like. You can see that it's already giving that bustier look. The bustier area is already showing well, so you have to do this very well to get this good result. Okay, so I also go ahead and iron the seams open, and I'm going to be using my tailor's hammer for the area where I have the bustier, so I can press it well and iron it flat. Okay, so you have to do the same right now. Okay, so I've already gone ahead to iron my seam open. You can see what it looks like. I've gone ahead to iron the seam open, both for the bustier, the asymmetric aspect, the back aspect as well. I've done everything, both for the lining and the fabric itself, the main fabric. So everything is already ironed open right now. So what I'm going to be doing now is that I'm going to be fixing my boning. So I'm using a Regiline bone, but before I do that, I'm going to be working on this bustier aspect first by fixing or putting my bust cage in there. Okay, this is to help the bust to stay firm. Okay, to stay firm and not go flat. So now this is the pattern I'll be using. I'm using my marker to trace out where I'll be fixing my Regiline bone. Okay, I'm going to be using a sewable bone for this. Now you can see I'm doing this in a crisscross pattern. You can do this straight if you want it. It's fine, it's going to work, but you can also do it the same way I'm doing it. They are all going to work. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and trace out the areas where I'll be fixing my bone. that is the Regiline bone. So that's what I'm doing. So after fixing the crisscross from up and down on both sides, I'm just going to come towards the center where you have the bust span, that is nipple to nipple area. I'm going to cross it with a straight line, and then I'm also going to put a little at the side here. So please, if you're not so busty, because for me, I'm not so busty, I don't need to add too many bonings. If you're not so busty, I would advise that you do not use too many bonings on this. But if you're very busty, please ensure to use enough boning to ensure that it is well structured and firm. So my Regiline bone is not up to half an inch, it's about 3.8 centimeter wide. Okay, so I'm not using a very big Regiline bone for this. So you can see the way I'm placing it on the lines. I'm just going to stitch towards the end, so please ensure don't stitch in between the boning, stitch towards the end of the boning on both sides. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be showing you how I go about it little by little. So you just take it and stitch on one side from the top, following the crisscross mark, and I'll stitch it to the other side. And after doing that, I'm going to come to the other side of the boning and stitch it going back to where I started from. Okay, so just follow it little by little and you get it right. And ensure that when you are placing your boning, the part that is curvy, that is the part that is I don't know how do I put it, the part that is curvy, that is not actually straight, should be facing you. Okay, the part that is curvy should be facing you, not the other way around. Okay, I hope you understand what I mean. So please, if you have any question, ensure to leave it in the comment section. Okay, so I've gone ahead to fix the first part, so I'm just going to fix the second part of the boning. So this is just how I'm going to go ahead to fix them all around. After fixing this part where I have the second crisscross marks, I'm going to go ahead and fix the part where I have the bust pan as well, and then the other part that cross over. Okay, so remember that if you are not so busty, it is much more advisable that you do not use too many bones. Okay, so for the bust measurement I'm using for this is bust 33 inches. 33 inches. So if you are busty like 40 and above, ensure that you use enough boning to give it enough structure. So I've gone ahead to fix all the Regiline bones at the area to get that bust caging that I need, and look at what it looks like. This is the result of it. Okay, so now I'm going to fix my Regiline bone on this area that I'm marking. So this is how I'm going to fix it. I'm just going to put my boning inside of the allowance there and stitch towards the end where I have the exact place I told you to fix for bust caging, towards the end of the boning, just to stitch it there. So I went ahead to do that for the bustier, and for the back part I'm going to be fixing on both sides of the allowance. Take note of that. So for the bustier, you can stitch for both sides if you want, but I didn't stitch for both sides. I only stitch for the both side for the back pattern, and you can see the way I'm stitching it. You fix the boning inside, cut it, and then you stitch holding it towards the end for it to stay. So take note of that. I used a size half an inch, that is the Regiline bone, for half an inch for the fabric that has the asymmetric design. Okay, I use half an inch for that, but I use the smaller Regiline bone for the other parts, and even the back pattern I use the Regiline bone on both sides of the allowance. Okay, take note of that. So you can actually use both sides or use one side, whichever way you prefer to do it is fine, it's going to work. So I've gone ahead to fix all the bonings for everything, and this is what I have. Please take note, I only fixed the boning on my lining. I'm fixing the boning on my lining, and the reason why I'm doing this is because I do not want the boning, the sewing lines or the sewing to show in the front. Okay, I don't want it to show in the front, I only want it to show at the back, and that's the reason why I'm stitching it only at the back. So for this asymmetric area, you can see I fixed the boning at that area like this, both the side facing the armhole and the side at the top. Okay, you can see the way I fixed the Regiline bone. And after that, I also fixed this one. You can see I only fixed one side for this as well, from the underbust down to the hem, and the other side I only fixed one side. So after doing this, you just take this to your iron and then give it a good press. Please ensure to use your tailor's hammer when you are ironing the bustier area to make sure that the curve is maintained. Okay, it's very important that you do that. Then you can see I've gone ahead to iron them out. Now I'm going to be using my hemming gum. If you have a bigger hemming gum, that's much better, but I'm using this smaller one because this is what I have for now. So you're going to fix your hemming gum on the bustier area where you caged, and then take your fiber. Okay, take your fiber and I just cut this fiber into like two different layers to give it a little bit of thickness. I don't want it to be too thick, but then I don't want it to be too light. So I put a little double layered. I put it and I went ahead to press it on it. Okay, I give it a press. After that, I was just trimming the excesses, the areas where I'm going to be stitching, or the allowance, so that it does not give me issue when I'm trying to join it. So I went ahead to just press it again. Okay, so if you don't have a steam iron, you can use water to sprinkle on it to help press it well. Okay, so now after that, I'm going to take the back piece like this, and I'm going to be stitching the areas where I have the center back. That is the area where I'll be having my lacing. I went ahead to join them together, face right side facing each other, with the lining and the main fabric. You can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to stitch at that side and at the top with 1/2 inch. Okay, at the top and at the side where I'm going to be putting my lacing, I'm going to go ahead and stitch it with 1/2 inch. Okay, so for this bustier area, I'm going to be also joining the lining and the main fabric right side facing each other, and I'm going to pin it up from the top area. Okay, I'm going to pin it and I'm going to be joining it with 1/2 inch. So please ensure that when you are doing this, you join it well, so that the sweetheart design is going to be showing very well. Okay, then for this one as well, I also went ahead to join it right side facing each other. So I didn't put any hairstay on the main fabric of this one because the material is very thick and I'm okay with it the way it is. So if you notice this side, after joining the top, I only joined the top, I didn't join the side that faced the armhole. So this is how I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to be folding it in like this and stitching on top of it. This is to help you to be able to turn it well. Okay, after I've gone ahead to stitch it, I went ahead to notch it well. Okay, especially the part where you have your sweetheart neckline. Ensure you notch it well and ensure you sew it well to give it that design. Okay, so I've done that, and I also went ahead to notch the back part. Then I went ahead to turn it. So I've gone ahead to turn everything. I'm just going to go ahead and give it a very good press. Okay, so after giving it a very good press, I'm going to bring it, and please take note for the back part. For the back part, we're also going to be fixing a boning for where I'm going to be fixing my lacing. So what I'm going to do is that when I'm going to do this, I'm going to be stitching the areas, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. So now the way I place this, you're going to have to place it that way and stitch it with the allowance you left. So I left 1 inch allowance, and that was what I used to stitch them on both sides, so you can see what it looks like. I also went ahead to pin the down area where I'll be piping it. Now I went to cut these pieces out because I'm going to be using it to pipe these areas where I have my allowance. I do not want them to show, so I went ahead to pipe it. Now look at what it looks like. I've gone ahead to pipe it, and I'm going to go ahead to tack this area the way I want it. I'm going to tack it because I'm going to be doing some beading and embellishment on it. So now this is what it looks like after we've gone ahead to join it. And now if you notice for the back areas, I did a stitch at the end, just leaving about 1/2 inch, not entirely 1/2 inch, not up to 1/2 inch. I just stitch a little because I'm going to be putting a plastic bone in that part. I'm not going to be using a sewable bone there. I just did a run a stitch from the top to the hem for both sides, and I fixed a plastic bone there. Okay, so that plastic bone is not sewable. Okay, so after that, you can see I've already piped the allowance at that area, so you can actually trim it off a little bit before piping it, but I don't want to trim it off. Okay, that was why I left it. So I went to cut out these pieces I'm using to pipe this down. It's about 4 inches long, but I ended up reducing it to 3 inches. But I would advise you cut 4 inches and then reduce it if the need be. Then I'll go ahead and pipe the lower part as well, just like I did for the side. Okay, so after doing this, I'll be done with the sewing aspect of this. And I also went ahead to give this plastic bone a very good press. You can see for the back that the areas where I did double boning for the back areas, and you can see that it's very close to where I'll be fixing my eyelets. So at this point, we are done with this tutorial. If you find this very helpful, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and leave your notification bell on so you can always get notified whenever we upload new videos. Thank you guys for watching.